Hey, I wanted to do a video on some Masterclass multiplayer games that I played recently. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts of what's going through my mind as I'm playing the game to kind of explain the tactics and strategies that I'm thinking of as I'm playing the game, and hopefully it'll be helpful for anyone who's trying to better their multiplayer game. So without further ado, let's get into the game. I'm playing against Zedron, who is probably at this point in time the best multiplayer player in the world. Um, Generally, it's very hard to keep up with Zedron on most maps, but on Epicenter in this current game, generally speaking, I can keep up with him pretty well on this map. We've had some very close games on this map lately, and I won't spoil the finish, but let's just jump right into the game here and see what happens. So, as I'm starting the game, I tend to look at how the first spawn is kind of configured. I'm probably going to be farther away than Zedron from this spawn because it's on the other side of the dome. Another thing I do tend to look at as I'm starting the game is try to find the nearest power-up so I can grab it on the way to the first spawn. So without further ado, let's give it a go. So I do pick up the gyrocopter, and it looks like I'm going to be able to pick up probably 3 points from this spawn, perhaps. Maybe 4. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I pick up a super jump on the way to the next spawn. I did hear that Zedron engaged in Mega Marble, and it's very important to note that I don't want to be getting into close quarters on this spawn with him because it's just going to kick me out of bounds. So my plan for this spawn and generally is to pick off one of the high value gems, then land at another lower value one, and then evaluate where he's at, and then go where he's not going to make sure that I'm not mega. So that's what's going through my mind right now. So it looks like he's heading down there, and I can pick up the yellow, but I don't quite have enough blast to get on there, and that's just a big misplay. Somehow we do actually manage to share all those gems in a row. Probably made a little bit of a misplay here. I should have gotten a gyrocopter that was back here, because as you can see, going to the next spawn, I don't have a power-up. Thankfully, I can pick up one on the way to the next spawn. And I pick up the majority of this spawn here, tying the scores temporarily. And here, in this case, you never want to engage on this last gem here when your opponent has a mega. It's never ever going to be a good idea, especially on a map like Epicenter. You're going to want to sacrifice this last red of the spawn, then use this time to either get towards the center of the map or pick up a power-up, in which case I already have one. So, very quick way to improve your game a little bit is just, don't try to engage your opponent when they have a Mega Marble and there's only one gem. It's just not worth it. So I do travel towards the center of the map, and it puts me in great position for the next blue. I do manage to get it and stay on to get the next couple gems at the spawn here. Ideally, it would be nice to pick up this gyrocopter, but this super jump here is perfectly acceptable as well to get out of this next spawn. So it looks like I don't manage to pick up a power-up. And one thing to note here on this map is, generally speaking, on Epicenter, if there's the last gem in the spawn, or in this case the second to last gem, generally what you're going to want to do is not get the last gem and then kind of turn around and go this way. Generally speaking, what you're going to want to do, even though it might be a little bit annoying and kind of competitive, is you're going to want to kind of go around this gem without getting it, stop here for a second, and then go and get some momentum towards the center of the map, because statistically speaking, that's going to put you in a better position in terms of momentum for the next spawn. Alright, let's take a look. So I don't have a power-up, but it looks like I kind of get to the next spawn okay, because the respawn is so quick once you touch that building. I do kind of lose 1 or 2 points, so very quick note here, and this is kind of a major strategy that I use in multiplayer, is generally speaking, I always try to keep tabs on what power-up my opponent has. And I've been keeping an eye on Zedron, and I don't believe he's picked up any super jumps, so I'm pretty sure that if I go for the blue, it's going to be uncontested. So it's a little bit of a gamble, but if I trust my my counting skills of the power-ups, then I should be the only one able to get this blue, and it looks like I am. So I know that right now, due to map knowledge, I know that there is probably a super jump that he picked up around here on the other side, or at the very least he's going to be able to get this one, so it may not be in my best interest to go for this yellow. It looks like he picked up the Mega Marble instead. So in this case, again, I purposely avoided the yellow to make sure he doesn't knock me away. So it's just a case of sacrificing it again, and given that I'm 4 points up, it's not a huge deal if I give up 2. So it looks like it pays off because I'm going to be able to get to the next spawn kind of uncontested. That was a bit of a misplay. Should have picked up that super jump, but it's okay. I also do a misplay by kind of overshooting the gyrocopter. Zedron is going to get most of the spawn. I'm not sure why he didn't pick up this last red. He was in better position for it. And this is just a huge, huge misplay. I was trying to be too fancy, and it just backfired sometimes. In this case, I will be in position for this next spawn, and I do have a power-up. And see, that's what I just did right here, is I go behind the gem and then rush towards the center of the map to make sure my momentum is there. It looks like it kind of works out because I have an extra half second or a second because of that momentum, and I should be able to get at least a couple of these gems. And again, I do the same momentum trick right here, and you'd be surprised at how much better it makes you at specifically this map if you just use that one trick. Alright, so I do make a bit of a misplay and kind of miss that red there. It was not on purpose. Zedron probably thought I was camping and just got it instead, but that's okay. So another very important thing on this map is looking for gem paths, or sort of connections of gems. In this case, I note that, you know, in the blink of an eye, I can tell that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 gems I can get kind of in a line or in a row. Whereas if I was to get these 2 gems, they're very non-linear. You'd have to get onto the rubber and then jump up to here. It's just going to be much smoother if you stay in one line without needing to break your path. So that's what I do right here. So Zedron's going to pick these up. I don't recall him picking up a super jump, so it's probably a safe bet to go for at least one of these yellows. If I had to guess, what I'm going to anticipate him doing is picking up this red, then going for the super jump, and then depending on what I do, he's going to go for the other yellow or go for these reds. So bearing that in mind, let's take a look at this next spawn here. So I do go for the yellow. It looks like I have enough time to pick up the other one. This spawn went pretty well for me. I have a power-up, and I'm all set for the next spawn. I don't think that Zedron has a gyrocopter, so it's probably safe for me to get the blue. So let's go ahead and take a look. It looks like I do get it, which is great. Yeah, as you can see, by the fact that he picked it up means he didn't have one before. So I think we're going to share this last red, and you know the scores are basically tied. Again, I'm kind of going for the linear kind of path of these gems. That was a misplay on Zedron's part. You should never use a gyrocopter like that. That's just never useful. So here, I know that Zedron did pick up a gyrocopter here, and it's going to be a race. It's going to be close because gyrocopter is generally going to be able to engage it, jump off of this rubber, and then at the last second you can blast, and that's a very, very, very fast kind of way to get this blue. The super jump is always going to be slower than gyrocopter for the most part, just because it only shoots you kind of in one direction. The gyrocopter lets you sort of fight gravity, and that helps you go a little bit faster. So generally speaking, it's going to be close to get to this blue. I decided to go for it, and it looks like we both share it. And he's going to get most of this spawn because he got a better respawn. I kind of missed that last red, but it's okay because I wound up getting it. Maybe a bit of a misplay. I should have started going for a power-up instead of just waiting around. But again, very, very quickly I realized that there's a line of 4 of these gems in a row, and it's going to be very easy for me to get these. Whereas if I was to get maybe this one, and then this one, and this one, or if I was to go here, and then here, then here, they're just so far apart, right? So like if you get these 4 in a row, it's basically 4 free points. So I get 1, 2, 3, and I get 4. Again, I avoid the Mech Marble, but I know I'm a little faster, so I pick up 6, I think, and this is the 7th. Again, I do the momentum thing. That was a misplay. I should have picked up that super jump just because it's great to power up chain. That was a misplay on Zedron's part. He shouldn't have walked into my Mega Marble. I'm going to pick up at least 2 of these reds, I think. I swap my power up for gyrocopter. There's no blue, so there's no reason to use the gyrocopter. I decided to just kind of whip off these 3 points and see what Zedron's doing. So it looks like he does Mega me, which is unfortunate. I am still up by, you know, it looks like 2 points here. Don't want to use the gyrocopter. And I should have engaged the Mega Marble just a split second sooner. And there's that Mega Marble bug of when you use it, it kind of sticks to the surface for a little bit. That's really, really annoying for me. So it looks like I pick up 2 reds, and the Mega kind of runs out just before I hit him. And Zedron knew I had the yellow, so he didn't bother going for it. So I see that he gets the yellow, and I pick up a power up to get ready for the next spawn, and we mostly split this spawn. I'm down by 2 points, 45 seconds to go, so it's a very close game. That was a bit of a misplay because I should not have missed that and wasted my power. Now I have to waste 2 or 3 more seconds getting the gyrocopter. It's probably a good idea to whip off this yellow. That was a good play because now I'm going to be able to respawn and pick up most of this next spawn here. So we got 25 seconds to play. The scores are, you know, almost tied. This next spawn goes, again, a little bit of a misplay, forcing me to waste a power-up. And it's all going to come down to this next spawn, right? I'm only down by 3 points. It's anyone's game at this point. I can probably win if I get a red, a blue, and a yellow. And then, hopefully that Zedron isn't able to get the blue. But, without further ado, let's look at the spawn. So, good so far. This is the misplay right here, is I should not have gone over this edge, because now Zedron's going to be able to just go through and pick up these. If I was able to get these, then the game could have been very, very different, but I do miss those by a fraction of a second. This next spawn is not a blue, nor is it helpful, so as you can see, it's pretty much going to be the end of the game here. And the final score is 134 to 127. I'm down by 7 points. That was a very, very close game, but it could have been worse. I'm just happy that it turned out to be a very competitive game, and yeah, GG. Alright, we're back with another game. So this is the map, Playground, again against Zedron. So let's take a look at the first spawn here. So I'm kind of on the wrong side of the map to this first spawn. More than likely Zedron's probably going to get there before I do, unless he's kind of behind me on my left. Again, as I'm kind of starting, I do notice that there is a super jump here that I could potentially get, or a super speed. So bearing that in mind, let's see how I approach this first spawn here. So looks like I do kind of pick up that super speed and go for this linear path of 4 points. Can't tell what power-up Zedron has at this point. That was a big misplay. I should not have goofed up like that. It's a very important trick I like to do on this playground map, is when you get that yellow, it's generally speaking going to be a good idea to go ahead and kind of stop yourself with that little ledge there. And very quickly, I think I'll demonstrate that if I can on Playground. Alright, so generally speaking, if you're up here and you have a super speed and you're trying to get the yellow that's kind of located right about down in that corner, generally what you can do is you can do something like this. So you can just kind of stop yourself like that and get to this next spawn just like that. It's a very kind of well-known theme, or at least it's well-known to me, of being able to just stop yourself very quickly in this corner like that. Alright, back to the game. We're going to go ahead and pick up a gyrocopter, and we get a very fortunate next spawn here. Scores are almost tied. We're doing okay here. That was a bit of a misplay on Zedron's part. He should have gone for one of those yellows. And, this is a very, very bad spawn for me, because I know Zedron's coming up this way, and this whole wall is in my way. It obviously would kind of be dumb to use the gyrocopter, so I'm just going to have to go around and waste a couple of seconds, but sometimes that's just what multiplayer does. Looks like Zedron kind of sweeps a lot of those gems there, and I make the decision to use this gyrocopter and use my blast, knowing that if Zedron tries to blast or super jump his way up, kind of like this, that blast at the last second is kind of going to knock him away. So it looks like I do successfully get the yellow, which is great. I pick up 2 more reds. I'm going to have time to pick up 1 more and pick up that Mega Marble on the way to the next spawn, which is awesome. I'm also going to power up chain by picking up that super speed and using it to stop momentum and get most of this next spawn. I probably should have stopped there to get the gyrocopter, but I did use that blaster to try to knock him off, and I get a very fortunate respawn here. Good, I have a power up for the next spawn. I use it to make sure I pick up that yellow. And I have a Mega. I'm not sure what power up he has, but it doesn't really matter because this is kind of a segregated spawn. We're on different levels. Very, very bad positioning for me in this next blue. I kind of just barely miss out on it, and what makes matters worse, he gets the yellow as well. I have momentum going into the next spawn, which is great. I should be able to Mega him here, which is fantastic. I do. Generally what I would like to do on this map is call it camping, call it whatever you like, but sometimes I call it semi-camping sort of. I like to pick up a power-up before I get the last gem. I fully intend on going back to get it, so I'm not fully camping, but you're kind of partially camping by stalling the game to give you time to pick up this power-up, so that's what I was trying to do here. But looks like due to lag, Zedron got it before me, so that was kind of unfortunate. So I decide just, I may as well go grab it. And he used the super speed, which doesn't really make sense to me because it's going to get you way out of position, I think. But I am trying to get this next Mega, and the ping was just not in my favor in this game. I lost at least 2 things already so far to ping. Again, I go for that kind of linear combo of gems, which is fantastic. And then I go ahead and pick up the super speed and turn around and use it, which is awesome. So now I should be thinking about getting this super jump good on the way to the next spawn, which I do. I should be able to get over here and pick up 2 or 3 gems. Yeah, good play so far. Yeah, I'm just not in a very good position for this next spawn, so I may as well pick up this red. Okay, so I know Zedron is coming down here, so I would like to blast him away, just kind of get him out of position, and unfortunately he just kind of megas me before that happens. So, get up top, looks like he's over there. Very important moment is, your blast is very, 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 very powerful, as you can see. What just happened there was me blasting Zedron away from the blue. So right now the blast is, it's powerful enough to the radius to reach him, and I knew that he was going to be trying to go up and over, and this is going to kind of shove him that away. It's going to shove him away from me and sort of towards this way instead of towards the blue, and that should enable me to get the blue because he's out of position, which is just fantastic play. I do get a couple more reds here, which kind of makes the play good. That was a misplay on Zedron's part. He should have just picked up that super speed because it was kind of right in his path. Right now, he does not have a power-up, as far as I know. I do make a good play there to get that yellow and the reds. I know he doesn't have a power-up, at least as far as I can tell. So, we're going to try to get some of these yellows here. I think I get one of them, or maybe both. A little bit risky because if the spawn was on the other side, I would have been way out of position, but it does kind of work in my favor here. And I wind up with, a tied score. So I pick up 3 points from this spawn, 4, and I have a Mega Marble. Very important moment here. I'm down by 1 point. Zedron did not have to go for this red. I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know if he knew I had a Mega or not, but it was obviously a very lucky play by me, as you're about to see. I wait until he's right at the gem, and I just Mega Marble him way out of the way. I think I even Mega him on the way up as he's super speeding into those yellows. So that kind of trick play alone kind of got me about 6 points. It looks like I caught on the edge of that little corner or something here, which is really annoying. I never really noticed that was there. Like right this little corner here, I guess look out for that because it's gonna mess you up. So it looks like I should be able to get the yellow and a couple of reds on this spawn, which is good. I'm not sure where Zedron went to because now I have a serious advantage and I'm in much better position to get this blue. This is going to be a very, very good spawn for me. Good. It's not worth it to try to fight those last reds, so I go ahead and use the Mega and just kind of go in a line. Good. I probably could have foregone that last red and gone for a power-up, but, it is what it is, and there's 40 seconds to go. It's pretty obvious I'm probably going to win this game. And, here's a very, very important play that I made. It's like a micro play. The game is, it's heavily in my favor given the time situation, but I didn't want to take any chances here, and so I knew that Zedron's going to get this last red, and if I was to get this last red in a second or two, then the spawn could happen over on this side, and Zedron could get most of it, and he could almost tie the scores probably. So what I actually do here is I jump over the red and wind up getting the super speed to make sure I'm in position for the next spawn. Which is great because now I can whip off this yellow, and I should be able to take most of this spawn here. Very good play jumping off the brown pillar. Generally you're going to want to get on top in playground here because it's going to give you more options. And really quick, the game is pretty much over and you can guess the result, but very quick note on maps like playground and pretty much most maps honestly where there's levels of tiers. You're going to want to, if you can, get to the top level first and then work your way down to the rest of the gems just because it gives you more options. If you start at the bottom, there's usually only one way to get to the top, and depending on what your opponent does, there's almost nothing you can do. If you start at the top and see your opponent is working on one side of the spawn, then you can just alter your strategy and fall down to get to the other side of it. So just a little bit of a tidbit of knowledge there. Yeah, so I just super speed the yellow. Very clean play here, kind of bounce off the pillar. I knew that Zedra was going to go to the left, so I go to the right to pick up those 2 reds, and we should be able to finish this off with a nice little combo here at the end to pick up 4 points. And that's a GG. That was a very, very clean game. We both made a couple of mistakes, but thankfully it kind of turned out in my favor, so GG. Alright, we're back with game 3. So we're playing against Eguy on Zenith. Very, very tricky map to play. It's probably one of the highest skill cap maps out there, and Eguy is one of the very, very best players as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this one plays out. So I got extremely lucky and got, kind of spawned right next to the blue spawn. So hopefully I'm going to be able to pick up most of this spawn here. Looks like Eguy just misses the blue, and we pick up the super speed to make sure we're in position for the next spawn. I probably could have used the super speed to kind of whip off the yellow and a couple of reds, but usually just winds up getting you out of position here. So, yeah, just like that. I do pick up 2 reds here. I see that I can probably beat him to the yellow, which I do. And not sure what power-up Eguy has. I don't think he has any power-ups whatsoever, neither do I, so it should be about a fair race to get to this blue spawn. I was planning on getting that blast and blasting my way up, but as you can see, it just clearly didn't work. And Eguy gets the blue. So here I should be able to pick up 2 points, maybe 1 more. Yeah, so he kind of uses that super speed to his advantage. I'm going to be able to pick up at least 3 points from this spawn. So he kind of camps out this last spawn. And I know that he has a power-up of some kind, so I'm able to beat his Mega Marble to it. So I didn't really want to exchange my super speed for a gyrocopter, so I just kind of wait for my blast to come back to get up here. I know he's going for the yellow, so I don't bother getting it. Looks like I'm going to be first to this next spawn, except for that yellow. And I pick up 4 points from this spawn. Maybe we'll make it 5. So here, I probably should pick up the gyrocopter. Doesn't matter what this next spawn is, because general gyrocopters are better on this map for the most part, at least in my opinion. So that's what I do to try to pick up this next blue. Eguy is probably going to get it, I would have to assume, and unfortunately I just blast right over it, which is just very, very unfortunate. And Eguy gets pretty much the whole spawn. Okay, so here I'm engaged in the Mega Marble, so again, I'm going to try not to let him engage me in close quarters. I'm going to try to whip off the yellow probably, and then maybe this one here, and then check where he's going so that I can go the opposite way to pick up some of these reds. Or in this case, I kind of just get blindsided by him behind me. So I pick a Mega of my own, and that was a very, very good try by Eguy. He almost made it. That was so close. Looks like he runs into my Mega Marble, and since I saw that, I know I can take a little bit more liberties on this spawn, and probably take time to pick power up, which I do on the way to the next spawn here. I whip off the yellow, thinking I'm going to respawn on top, but, unfortunately sometimes it just doesn't happen. It's just luck sometimes. I should be able to pick up these 2, which I do. We kind of both do. I know that he's in the high in the air, so I have a little extra time on this next spawn here. Here on Zenith is generally better instead of going for these last gem or 2. I probably should have picked up the gyrocopter since it's just going to be more beneficial to get to the next spawn. So that was probably not the most optimal play there. Now I'm left with no power up, and Eguy probably does have one. The spawn goes okay. Wow, we're all spawning kind of in the center here. Good opportunity to pick up that gyrocopter, which is great. Looks like I'm kind of first to this spawn. I'm not sure where Eguy went. He kind of probably messed up a little bit. I should be able to pick up most of this spawn here. There's really not too much to commentate on so far. It's all just kind of, knowing how to play on ice and picking up these difficult gems. Very good part about that play is I pick up the super speed, regardless of the fact I got the yellow and the red. So now I can use the super speed to my advantage and hopefully pick up the blue, which I do. That was a very, very, very difficult play to execute. So here I kind of just dodge his Mega Marble because I don't want to get smashed. And I use the super speed to stay on top, and I was trying to grab that super speed on the right, but didn't work out. So I'm up by 20 points, which is very unusual in this map against Eguy, but I guess he's probably just had an off day or something. So I do try to pick up the super speed, but unfortunately, you guys has the same idea. And here, yep, I do pick up the super speed. I'm going to wait to the next spawn, and I use my blast to get on top. So here, I use kind of my upward momentum to use the super speed to pick off those two reds. Now, I have a blast, and I'm probably going to blast him out of the way in the next spawn here, but it looks like I just kind of use that to get myself to the next spawn. I want to avoid his Mega Marble, so I just kind of stay in the air a little bit longer. With this gyrocopter, I might be able to get this blue, but it looks like he gets it just a little faster. The scores are almost tied now. It's very, very close. Gotta be... Oh, yeah, he blasted me off right there. This is a very, very close game. Very close. And he didn't have to get that last red if it was a competitive game, but since it's just kind of a friendly game, it's, it's more understandable. Looks like he kind of gets a little better on this spawn here, and very important to pick up that last super speed to get me to the next spawn first, since this is going to be probably the last spawn of the game. Looks like he misses these two yellows, and it works out very well for me, and I win by 2 points. Very, very close game on a very, 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 very difficult map because of the ice and the difficult gem placements, but GG, again. Alright, if any of this was helpful, let me know. And I might consider making some more of these videos. Like I said, the idea is just to kind of express the thoughts that are going through my mind and the tactics and strategies I'm using to, hopefully beat my opponents or at least to give them a good try. So that's about it for now, and have fun with multiplayer.